Mr. Ndivho Manginya,
Yes.
welcome to the Angle Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having
How are
me.
you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain.
You've been behind the scenes for a very long time.
Yes.
We decided to show the world who's been doing this great work for us.
Yes. Definitely. Thank you.
What does the space mean for you, this content creation space?
So the content creation space for me, it means, telling stories in different angles. And you help people amplify their voices through this storytelling. And so that's what we provide. We provide the platform for people to voice out whatever ideas they have, whatever stuff they have.
What maketh the man? What is it that contributed to Ndivho being Ndivho today? If somebody was to get a brief sort of background on who Ndivho is, where Ndivho comes from, and ultimately what made him be the Ndivho that we know today.
As everyone say, a lot of challenges. That's what makes people. But for me, to be where I am, I think it was my grandmother, my late grandmother. She made me who I am today, a resilient young boy who doesn't give up. So I believe she played a very huge role in my upbringing. I lived with her for her entire life.
Okay.
For her entire life.
Yeah.
Because when I was born, I fell on her hands, and then she raised me to be the person I am today. That's her. She didn't, take any excuse. She wants you to be the best person you can be. And I think it's her who contributed. She loved us to, have education, to be educated. And we went to school. She was supporting us, to become the people or the person that I am today.
And what is your educational background? Where did you start and where did you end?
So I studied in primary school in a village. Everyone from Limpopo say from a small village. So like that, definitely that is a small village. So I know everyone in the village. So from a small village called Chidimbini, I went to a primary school called Garananjere. I didn't go to preschool or creche. So I went to primary school called Garananjere. Then passed and went to Chipatani higher senior primary school.
Chipatani,
yes.
This school.
So there's Chipatani. Then from there, I went to Chibase Secondary School.
The Chibase.
The Chibase, yes. So from Chibase, passed my matric and then went to Vets University to study mechanical engineering.
I'm fascinated with Chibase.
Yes.
What makes that school so great? I mean, I've met 4 guys in one city who are all doing great from that school.
Yeah.
That's you, Hangwili Padzi, Mimere Mtangwa. Am I forgetting someone else? I'm sure there's 4
Brendan Fernandez. Yes. Yeah.
All from the same high school.
Yes.
Doing amazing things. How? What do they feed you there?
I think they feed us discipline.
Okay.
So I think if you have discipline, that's the recipe for success and doing great in life. Because you can't just go with the flow. You tend to stand out because you're disciplined. You stand out from the crowd. So I believe that Chibase Secondary is high in discipline. When they say high discipline, high morale, that's the school for you. So, and the teachers, led by a great principal,
Who's the principal?
Mr. F.K. Maseresere. So he's a great principal. it doesn't also take any excuse.
Yeah. Oh, more like your grandmother.
Yeah, like he's very disciplined, and he wants everyone to toe the line. So I believe that he contributes a lot in what we are today as young people coming from Chibase Secondary School.
Hey man, shout out to Chibase Secondary School. Yeah. Guys from that school are doing amazing things. So you went to Wits to study engineering.
Yes.
And you are in content production.
Yes.
When did the switch happen?
So I believe I found my passion in photography when I was doing engineering. So there's a saying that they say in Wits School of Mechanical, Industrial and Aero, they say it produces more photographers than engineers.
Yeah. Is it a real thing?
Well, there are a lot of photographers and content creators that came out of that school. So yeah. So I was doing mechanical engineering. Yeah. I came to Wits in 2014, did my first year. It was not so good. First year I failed one module, and bad luck, it blocked almost everything in second year. So I couldn't proceed to the second year in 2015. Then that's where the love of the love of photography was there, because my uncle owned a camera. He used to be known in the village to take pictures and go around families and taking pictures. But for me, that time that I had when I was repeating that model gave me an opportunity to explore this photography even more. It was like the time where they were introducing this YouTube monetization stuff, and then Feast Must Fall came in. That's when I started even taking my practicals of photography to a next level, because I would be taking pictures of people protesting. I would be part of the protest, and also creating content. So there's a video that we took of the song Solomon. Yeah, that is doing well on YouTube. People even call me to ask for the rights. Yes. Wow. People call to ask to use the content for their documentaries or anything that they are doing. So yeah.
Many years later, that video is still doing very well.
Doing very well.
And that was the moment for you to say content production.
Yes, content. I loved high quality motion pictures. So the love for quality motion pictures that stayed with me my entire life.
But again, at that point, you also made another switch. So you started producing the content. You creating the content and putting it out, content gaining momentum, people loving the content. You switched to creating more like an infrastructure where people can come and create the content, and then you just become the engine behind the content that guys like me produce.
Yes.
Why did you move from you being the content producer, creator to the product content producer?
Yeah. So even in the beginning, I was not really in front of the camera. Even things that I would produce, because we'd do wedding filmmaking, we'd do conferences, corporate events and stuff. So I remained in the background. So I didn't really want to be in front, even though there are some content here and there where I was in front of the camera. But what I liked most was just to see the technical side of things and integrate stuff and make sure that we produce the content or quality content.
Okay. And what support did you get, excuse me, in you building this great business where you have a fully fledged studio, you've got a number of guys coming in to create content, and you're producing for them? What was the journey like for you in building this business, and what support did you look for and actually manage to get in the end?
Yeah. So obviously greatest support came from the family. I have, amazing mother and brother who support me every step of the way. Like the whole family, actually, they support, even when it was, not doing well financially. They would, take from their salaries to say, okay, we can just support here and there. And I'm glad that they don't push me to then go in the industry and use my degree or whatever. Like they just let me be, and they know and they believe in what I'm doing. So the support in terms of buying equipment, at some point we applied for NYDA grant support, and we had to go to, there was an event happening at Nazareth.
Okay.
So we had to do pitching for equipment. Then in us doing the pitching, we also took out the equipment that we had to go and support the event by creating content for them. So as we were creating content for them, and when I went up to pitch, I also referenced that we are the ones actually doing all this. And then in that pitching, then we had scored funding for 50,000 rands. We bought a very big computer that we used to edit. It's still working even now. I think we received funding, was it 2018? It was a long time ago.
A while ago.
And it's a gaming PC. It's an i9 processor. Even now, an i9 processors are not
right. They're not phased out yet.
Yes. So we have an i9 processor that we use to do anything. You can throw anything at it, it will still respond. So we're still using that asset even now. So that's the support that we got from the government side.
Yeah.
And from close friends, people who would give you events, like your Wumutangwas, they say, okay, there's an event, go and capture. Then they support us also. And, the organizations like your Tusanani Foundations, so those are the organizations that were closer to us and would support them with the services that we offer. And then in return, they would support us with all the support, whether financially or otherwise.
All right. You mentioned that there was help from family, friends. So there seems to have been a little community around you that was able to share a vision with you.
Yes.
Especially around what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go with the business. How important would you say it is for guys that are starting early across many different startups to have a little community that shares a vision? And the bigger question, I guess, is how do you get this smaller circle to buy into that vision and ultimately say, we see what you're doing and we are willing to assist where we can?
Yeah. Having a community is very, very important. Having people around you that believes in your idea is very important. As I said, with the family side, if it was another family, they would have said, go to school, get your degree, go work. Don't do anything that you love to do and all these things. So we managed to build a community around, or I managed to attract people based on my interest, based on what I love. So I attracted the right people. If I can count people who have been in this journey, there are a lot. There's Umtero, Kanyisa, Zibuya. Like there's a lot of them that all of them we used to even stay in the same apartment when we were going for an event or when we want to do something. We'd stay in the same apartment, then travel, all around the country, going to shoot stuff. So they saw the vision, they believed in the vision because as a leader of that vision, I was believing in it. I could sacrifice my last money to invest in that vision. So it's much easier for someone who's just by your side to say, okay, if this person can sacrifice this much to do this, then all I can do is just to support them because I believe in the idea that much. So there's a lot, that comes out when you have a community that believes in you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you've been through all of those challenges. You got to a point where you have a fully functioning running studio called Phanda Studios.
Yes.
What services do you offer?
So we do video production and video live streaming and video broadcasting technically, because live streaming, I see people use live streaming, but I think the streaming part is when you're extracting from the internet. Yeah. So when you are uploading to the internet, it's broadcasting. So,
right.
Yeah. So we do video broadcasting. We started as a photography company, and later on we introduced different services. The graphic design, your video production, your video live streaming now, and now we also do software development.
What?
Yeah.
How does a content production studio double in software development?
Yeah. So when I was doing my mechanical engineering, I didn't finish the story, but I ended up later switching to industrial engineering. because mechanical engineering, when you're finding yourself and finding, what you like, you then realize that, okay, some things are not actually relevant to what I like or what I want to see myself doing. So I switched because it was also challenging, mechanical engineering. Then I switched to industrial engineering. Luckily, it was in the same school, so I don't have to go through first year. And so from third year, then you just branch into industrial engineering and finished industrial engineering. And within that school, we do programming. We do mechatronics. We do
mechatronics.
Yes. So there are a lot of things that I've done that involves mechatronics also in this, the software development space and hardware development. So yeah, that's how
you moved to software.
Yeah. So the love for software technical courses. I'm good with technical stuff. I was the go-to guy at Nokendo at our residence, where when people want assistance with their software development or programming courses, most of them get distinctions, obviously. Because
Did you get distinctions?
Yes. Yeah. So with technical courses, like theory, I find it difficult because I'm good with drawing. I'm good with programming, good with mechatronics and stuff. But when we come to theory, reading something and
having to regurgitate that you read, it's a bit of a challenge.
It's a bit of a challenge, yeah.
Okay, and so you moved. Now, having created the studio, you have the software dev part of the business. What do you offer from software? Because it's very clear what the studio part and the production part offers.
Yes.
Do you offer services in the software space?
So as we were doing all this video production, video live streaming, we experienced challenges where we want to run overlay graphics. You see, when the show is going on and there's a person on the podium, want to write their name, and the program director might ask you to play a video or to show an image or show a slideshow. So all that, we have to then run it in real time because it's broadcasting, no mistakes, nothing must go wrong. Then we find challenges that softwares were scattered, like the ones that we're using. So you would use an OBS on the other side, you would use a Blackmagic software on the other side, you use something on the other side for audio, you use Rodecaster. And so all those things were like individual, systems that you have to then integrate when you're still looking for a name for the guest on the other side. Something is happening and you can't run same thing. Different things at the same
time.
So that's when we then had an idea of developing our own in-house software that we can use to run our graphics, to run our videos, to do our countdown timers, to actually run the whole show. So event organizers don't have to worry about anything. We can literally run the whole show on our side without bothering them, timing everyone. If there's a speaker that has to be speaking for 10 minutes, you put that speaker for 10 minutes. Do all overlay graphics, animated graphics, everything within that one software. So we built that solution based on the challenges that we had experienced. And now we are in the process of actually taking it out there for people to start using it, to get licensed and operate with that software. Because I believe from the space that I operate in, I believe that software is well streamlined and designed properly for live broadcasting companies and people who run live events.
Okay, so the software was an answer to a problem that you were facing in the business.
Definitely.
The content creation space is full of challenges. And I think one of the challenges that are not spoken of quite often is this logic or this idea that we are building and creating content, but it doesn't live on anything that we own. Same challenge that you faced. You had a lot of streaming challenges with third-party software that you did not own and had no control over, and you had to build your own layer that you can control and own. How important is it that there is an infrastructure that is owned locally for content creators?
I cannot stress that further. Like, we need our own platform.
Yeah.
I wanted to say the one that you're gonna upload this channel to, but yeah, we need our own platform.
We need our own YouTube.
Yeah,
yes.
we need our own YouTube. So yeah, we tried that. We tried developing a software. It's called Media Plus. That's why we're called Phanda Studios Media Plus.
Right.
So the Media Plus, there's a software called a streaming solution called Media Plus, where during COVID-19 we saw a gap because I think COVID-19 has accelerated this content online content consumption
quite a lot.
So we then introduced something called Media Plus.
Okay.
So Media Plus was a streaming solution just like YouTube. You would upload your videos, but we were doing it internally because we are a live broadcasting company. Would stream our own events, would stream our own shows into that platform so that people can go and watch. And then the pay-per-view, it was not popular then. Pay-per-view, people would pay 30 rands to watch a show, a live show. And yeah, we saw that it could work to have such a platform. But remember, up until we own the whole value chain,
right?
We don't own a platform,
right?
That was a challenge to us because we don't have servers that can handle multiple streams at the same time. We don't have back-end systems that can manage a lot of things. So if you flood that with 100 users, it's going to be a problem because they have to stream.
Yeah.
So you don't have buckets to share that content with them. Then you still need to go back to the same people.
Yes. The YouTubes of the world.
And they're going to charge you an arm and a leg because
they will.
To them it's free because they own the whole infrastructure, the whole infrastructure and stuff. So to us, I think we need to go back to the basics, to go back, say, okay, how do we build a data center that South African can use and, at a close to nothing price to develop ideas. Your Silicon Valleys and this other stuff, they have stuff that they can access, at a cheaper price or free that, influences them to be innovative and build system and stuff that, no one could think of.
So somebody watching may be wondering, but why care? Why try to reinvent the world? YouTube is working, TikTok is working. All of these platforms seem to be working. Why create one of your own? What are you solving with creating one of your own? Why is it important to do so?
So you are not solving the content consumption problem, but you are solving the ownership problem.
Okay.
Remember, when you upload your videos, you think you own them now, but immediately when you upload them, you are giving the right away to someone. Someone may decide to turn off. Imagine when we have a Microsoft outage, what happens? Companies will be crying. Like everyone will be like, yo, we can't. So we are solving the ownership problem, the IP, the intellectual property for the creators. To say it's done in Africa, it must be owned in Africa, it must be consumed here. You can take it out to the world, but the ownership remains here. You know where your data is being stored, where your data is. Then you don't have to rely on someone from overseas to, and also if it's owned here, meaning that we are keeping the economy growing within our community or within the continent, because the money that was supposed to be given for advertisement to these big corporations, it's now given to local, owners and you guys. It doesn't have to go through, multiple divisions to say, okay, Google is going to get this much from this big company, then it passed down 10 rand to you as an end user. When they have received millions and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how we then own the whole value chain and say we dictate on the pricing, the advertising, and people love African content. If you check TikTok, it's flooded by African content. South African dancers and dance styles are the ones that trends most in whole world.
That's true.
So we have the content and they need us.
Yeah.
But we need now to then talk about how do we then own this content.
I'm not saying this because the President of the Republic is a fellow vendor man, but if you had the power, maybe sitting in the president's office, and you were given the task of restructuring content production, ownership, the entire value chain, how would you approach it? I know it's a very huge question, but how would you suggest a restructuring of how currently content creators are putting out content on foreign platforms? The monetization process there, it's hardly fair. The way content is monetized here in South Africa versus the rest of the world is not the same. Other creators elsewhere are making more money off of their content versus the local creators. And the ownership problems as well. You made this content, but in truth, you don't own it. You still have to ship it off to somebody to monetize it, to hold it into their servers. At any given point, they can switch it off, and there goes your content. So in solving that, in creating this infrastructure, how would you approach it? And I mean, you've already started, right? From creating the equipment that produces the content to creating platforms that actually can stream this content. But how do we get this structure right? How do we build the value chain right, such that we create the content, own it, and monetize it in a way that makes sense?
Okay. So for a short term, I would say the government has to then put laws in places that protects the content that is generated within our shores, like within our borders. So if I'm a creator, look at how China and the US does things. They say, you are TikTok, you come in, everything that happens, every data that is generated by TikTok in America, it's stored in data centers that are in America. So you can't ship your content out because content is money. When you're creating content, there's a lot of things that people don't really understand. That when you're creating a content, there's some things that you're showing, some things that are you're advertising for these big brands, or some things that are used to train AI, right? So if you then ship out that content to data centers that are stored offshore, meaning that you are actually selling or taking away the IP. So we start there. We say, if Amazon or whichever company is here in South Africa, the data that is generated in the country must be stored within the country. It mustn't go out. So we must have control for it. And when it goes out, we must then track how much money has this content made for these big corporations, for the companies themselves. Then from that, we then have a fair usage policy or whatever the policy that we may implement to say, now for us to pay the creator of the content a fair amount, this is what must happen, because they take large amount and then they pass down, cents to us. So that way will then be, making sure that content creators get value for their content, and we then also stimulate people to create more content, because as you said, people who are on YouTube in other countries get paid way more than what we get paid. So for me, I also just have given up on the strategy of making money via YouTube, because I know it's challenging. It's definitely challenging.
It's a nightmare.
So other content creators, you just make a video today, the algorithm puts it out there. Even if you haven't watched this person, the algorithm will just put that video on your face and you are forced to watch it.
Right.
So algorithms are also, tweaked to then publicize the content that is from these other countries, from these other creators, and our own, when maybe people like it and the algorithm is forced to then publicize it, the content creators are not getting paid enough. So we need to find a way to then say, how do we then make sure that these content creators are paid well, they get value for their content instead of just, shipping it out there. And then also in terms of policies that controls this content or film podcasters and filmmakers. So we need to relax them a little bit, make sure that yes, people are not violating one another online, and but let's not make it too strict, because people don't don't become innovative in a very restricting environment. So you start putting a lot of rules saying you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do that. People are just going to leave it like that. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of rules. Like immediately when I'm reading terms and conditions of something, I see a lot of TNCs. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
So innovators and creators, they're like that. So the moment we start, bottling them and controlling their narrative, they're not going to create content that people like or that people want to consume. So we have to also look into that and have ways and policies that protects obviously the consumers, but also protect the creators.
The creators themselves.
Yeah.
Can we get it right? Government has tried. I see there was a committee happening in Parliament to try and regulate podcasts. Even though I don't understand how that's going to work, because to a large extent it sounded like censorship more than it was regulating. How is it something that we can get right, or is it just something that we must just let grow with time, and given enough time, this will take shape?
Yeah, I think you're right. The discussion that was happening in the Parliament, it sounded more like censorship than regulation.
Yeah.
Because when you want to regulate people, obviously you have to get all the voices. So you can't go pick and choose this one that, okay, this one is a better voice than this one.
Yeah.
Then maybe when they talk, we then, blanket that approach and say every podcaster's, some people just want to make content that is, it's not regulated or or it's not censored. So that the government side, they want to do that because obviously when you start talking bad about government, then you must be censored. When you start talking this about government, then you must, be bottled and, put aside. So I feel like we have to try and get it right now. We don't have to say, let it grow, and then all of the sudden everything will fall in place. Because technology is moving very fast. And by the time we say, okay, let's let it grow, after 5 years, there's something new, or there's some ways of consuming content that, we didn't get this one right. Then we're trying to solve, we're always behind trying to solve a problem. So I think we have to try and get it right now. Try to put, those policies that are not restrictive, for content creators to explore this stuff. Yeah, so I think
So which one would you say was supposed to come first? In my opinion, I think they jump in the gun. We're already talking about regulating the space, but we're not talking about creating the infrastructure for the space.
For the space, yes.
Should we not start there to say, how do we as a country empower these creators such that whatever they are creating is well within the rights and the ownership and in accordance with the country, the country's laws, that is. Then after this, let's then go say, okay, sharp. Now that they are creating in platforms that we can own, or we do own, now let's regulate what it is that they can do or say on the platforms. Instead of saying, you guys have a voice. I don't think we like what
you're talking.
Right. So let's find ways to shape that which you're talking about and how you phrase it online. Should they have started with ownership, would you say?
Yeah, I think they should have started there, with creating infrastructure that allows creators to flourish. Because the small number of group of creators that you are trying to regulate might now be limited, because now there won't be new people coming into the space because the laws are just, or the regulations are just, ridiculous. So you should have started in, getting, look at how Nigeria is in terms of content creation. It's big. It's huge. Yeah, I don't know about the support from their government, but like when you look at it from a distance, you see like they're doing big things there.
Yeah.
So if we manage to create a community like that, like Nigeria, where there's a movie every minute, right, that is coming out, then from there you say, okay, now we have this content. How do we store it? How do we distribute it? What are the conditions of distributions? How do we protect the filmmakers, the actors, and all these people, these other people that are in the value chain? So in that way, we should start by getting the infrastructure right, not try and regulate. Imagine you are regulating me. I bought my own camera. I bought my own stuff. You are coming in and say, no, you don't have to say this. You don't have to say this.
Imagine.
What are you saying? Because
imagine.
You didn't help me get. If you had helped me, now, like if people give you funding, you sort of have a soft spot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Okay,
I hear you.
I hear
You gave me a leg up.
I won't go deep.
Right,
but
right.
yeah.
When you just come in and you start calling shots,
it's my own phone. It's my own,
And see, the frustrating thing for me here is if government is serious serious about job creation in this era of internet and content creation, there's no better way of creating more jobs than to create infrastructure upon which content can be produced, owned, and thrive. Because at that, when you create those layers, those are a lot of jobs that then plug in. When the content creators are left to just creation, the only job is creation. Right. But there's an entire value chain. How do you protect the actors? How do you protect the content, the movies, the snip, all of that content that comes out at the rate that it comes out, regulation, protections, all of that creates an entire industry that can absorb so many people into this thing of content creation than just leaving kids to say, you want to make it in content creation, create the content. Because that's almost the poster child type of content creation hero to say, to make it in the space, create the content and let it go viral.
So that's true. So we need to have systems in place that would, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought there.
Okay. But maybe we should then jump into the streaming platform. So now that we've moved past the production, the cameras, we have the studio set, we're producing content, we can stream very well. What's next for Phanda?
So what's next for Phanda? It's now owning this, streaming software, because it's a new baby that we are
Media Plus.
Not the Media Plus. We're still doing on the production side, right?
Okay.
We want to pilot this live events graphics software that we have launched and get people to create content with ease, like fast. Because part of maybe something that I didn't tell you is that we are more of system integration company than doing all these things. We must make sure that the system works first. When you're integrating people, equipment, software, all those things, how does then the workflow get simplified and easy to operate for anyone? A new person, if I give you that software to operate it, within 10 minutes you would have known what to do. Because we have made it simple. A person who doesn't know, let's say you are coming in to speak on the podium, and then there's a lower third title or graphics there. You don't have to think to remember what the person introduced you said. You just hover on top of that, and then it shows your image. Like, okay, this person is the same one who's on the podium. Then you just play that graphic. So the next step is to then commercialize this software. Make sure that people are using it just like your open broadcast software, and then from there, we'll definitely see what's.
And how soon after all of this are we having a YouTube from Media Plus or Phanda Studio?
Well, if I get a person willing to pay for the servers and infrastructure, the platform is already there.
Right.
Like with just few code and updating stuff, I can have Media Plus running again. Like,
okay,
we just need the back end part. Where do we store the data? Because people are going to be consuming a lot of data. And one of the problems, again, with our government is the connectivity. So you find that the content that you're creating is appealing more to people who are in the rural area. And then the people who are in the rural area don't have connectivity. Then you are having that. So there's a lot to solve. You see the battle between Starlink and the government. So there's still a lot to solve, and we're still behind. Imagine now, like six, 7 years behind for introduction of Starlink, because Starlink has been there for quite some time
yeah.
So we are still behind, still battling getting the policy right, getting the other stuff right. It's a difficult one. So government has a lot, because in that entire value chain of production,
I pledge 10 million.
10 million
rands.
Yeah.
Do we have a YouTube?
Yeah, we can definitely have a YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can scale it up afterwards, but starting locally, starting to have local consumers consuming that content.
Yeah.
From our within our borders, definitely we can have it.
Anyone with 10 million out there, please. We need a YouTube out here.
Yeah.
Please. Yes.
The
send it this way.
Yeah.
Not here.
So if you go and search Media Plus, definitely you'll see how it was structured with the videos. And we can expand it, have channels. People can create their own channels and.
This business of streaming is growing by the day, and I, for one, don't quite understand it. What does one need to understand about streaming platforms that is not normally spoken about? I mean, all I know is I press a button and there's a feed.
Yes.
I don't see anything that happens.
Oh, in the background.
Right.
All right.
All I know is that somebody's live, sharp. Done.
So here's what happens. The architecture behind content consumption, because now that's on the consumption side, and the production side. So if I create a video, I upload it on YouTube, it gets stored in servers. So server are like your hard drives that are connected to the network, to the internet.
Sure.
Right. Then from those servers, if I request and say I want to watch the Angle podcast video, it then trace and check the closest server to me, or the closest data center to me, and say we're gonna stream this video from this server, because it's much easier to deliver that content faster with no glitches and so there's no traffic. Unlike when the server is in Nairobi, then you have to get it from Nairobi to South Africa via data network lines. So it's, as a YouTube, it has multiple data centers and multiple buckets in data centers. So buckets are like your small memory cards, within the bigger memory card.
Yeah.
That says, okay, we're gonna store this so that it's easier for people to consume content. Similar thing happened to a live video. So a live video, you go live, it goes to a server storage where it's broadcasting in real time. Then people who are within or who are streaming the live video are then streaming it from their closest data center.
Yeah.
And then if there's a huge traffic, meaning that a lot of people are trying to stream that content. So it's like you're sharing. I don't know if you've seen when you are sending a video or multiple files into one hard drive.
Yeah,
but you're sending them separately.
Right.
Not.
There's a number of.
So you'll see how it slows down. Then you're dividing the bandwidth amongst these individual streamers. So for us to have then the correct platform with correct enough buckets for everyone to stream, then we must have that entire architecture well streamlined for people to then consume that content. So it has passed through a lot of encryption. Encoding, decoding. So there's a lot of things that happens in the background.
This is extreme case.
Yes.
Is it live now? Is it ready for people to use?
Yeah. So you mean
the streaming platform that you built, Extreme Case?
No, the Extreme Case is it's not a streaming platform. It's a hardware solution.
Okay.
Yes. So a hardware solution where we combined everything, all the hardware equipment
into that case.
Okay. Because we were trying to solve the issue of setup time when we are going to broadcast things like we dealt with a lot of political events. So you would be traveling, and then when you get there, the principal is there already. You have to stream, and then you have to have shortest setup time.
Okay.
And you just plug and play.
Okay.
So that's the extreme case.
What's the streaming platform called?
Media Plus.
That's part of the Media Plus product.
Sorry?
It's part of the Media Plus product, because the Media Plus, you said, it also has this YouTube-like thing that you also building.
Yes.
Okay.
So Media Plus is the streaming platform, just like YouTube.
I see. I see.
Because we deal with a lot of hardware and software solutions. So the hardware side, it's where we are then trying to support this. How do we then stream to these platforms that we are creating?
Okay.
So we are trying to create a whole value chain and at a community or atmosphere.
So if someone is looking at subscribing, let's say, to Media Plus, what does Media Plus solve for me that many other softwares out there otherwise would fail?
Well, for now, it's still the ownership. We are looking at it at the ownership level, not really at the consumer level.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing might be that now you get a lot of local advertisement happening. So local products. So stuff that you'll be consuming in the advertisement side will then be the ones that are made local and not receiving an advert that is from outside the country. So the algorithm will then be optimized to look at your profile, get the localized stuff.
Okay. So we went through Phanda Studio, which is the content production business. We went through Media Plus, which is the streaming business.
Yeah.
We haven't touched much on Extreme Case.
Yes.
What is Extreme Case?
So an Extreme Case, it's an open broadcast van in a box. So you see this OB truck, this super sport truck that they use to produce. So that's that in a box.
In a box. You fit an entire truck in a box.
Yes, definitely. So it does almost everything. Like I could stream a soccer match with super sport side by side and still get the same results.
From a box?
From a box. Because this one, you can carry it. You can put it wherever you want to put it.
How big is it?
It's not even 1 meter, 0.9 by 0.5. And then the height is, I think, 270. So you just open, it's just like a laptop, but with multiple hardware devices that you can be able to, use. They're integrated together. So you have a computer that runs graphics within that. We have a mixer that runs audio within that. With grounding devices that protects it from electrical shocks and getting burned. We have the video switcher that switches everything. We have a network switcher that makes sure that everything can communicate with each other. So I can control it with an iPad, like having my iPad control the whole box because everything can communicate with each other. So there's a router. There are multiple screens that you can view, your computer screens, your video switcher screens. Yeah, there's a lot that the power supply
in one box.
In one box. You just one plug, you plug your cameras via HDMI, and it's basically what is being used to record this podcast now.
And how much does it cost?
Well, over 300,000.
Are you going to sell this?
Well, I was thinking of auctioning it because I'm working on a version 3. Okay. So we have a version 1, which is just bulky, big screens. And then we innovated. We went to a smaller one, which is the version 2 that we're using. We want to try and get a version 3, which is more compact, but way more smarter.
But wait, at 300K, this is compared to an entire van?
Yes, which is like, I don't know.
Millions.
Yeah, 10 millions OB truck.
So it's still a bargain.
It is. It is. It's just that obviously there's a lot of difference in the type of the equipment that they use and
but you still get quality.
You still get if the job is to get the product live to people for them to stream, we can get it out faster, cheaper.
This is unbelievable. You are literally some of South Africa's unsung heroes when it comes to building infrastructure for content creation.
Yes, definitely.
No, man, thank you so much for making the time. Any parting shots?
Yeah, thank you for having me. And we're still working on a lot of things. As a systems integrator, I'm working on making sure also that we don't just get right the production side, but we also get right the entrepreneurship side, the running of the business. Having a platform that integrates everything. When we're having projects, We have that platform that, you can assign projects to someone, you can generate their payrolls, they can scan for their attendance. We have everything, all the clients stored in one platform that we use to operate here. And we are also open to deploy it to other organizations and test this amazing platform.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Ndivho Manginya. We'll leave all the links in the description below. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been the Angle Podcast. Do like, subscribe, share on all social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you.